Hey everyone, how's it going? Doomy, gloomy day today. It's raining. I don't know if you can hear it through the microphone. But anyway, so what do I want to talk to you about today? It's basically this industry, and you've heard so many different stories about how the dealerships are having a hard time getting technicians. Ford says, they have, 1,200 empty bays or whatever, and you hear it all the time. It's so hard to find technicians and stuff like that. But why? Why is it so hard to find technicians? Let me bring you back many years now. Back in the 70s, okay, 80s, when you had a problem with your car in your neighborhood, I can just about guarantee you there was, if you lived in a city, let's say, I guarantee you had a handful of people in your neighborhood that knew actually how to fix a car, that knew mechanical stuff. They just had that ability to do that. Not saying people don't have the ability today. People don't want to have the ability. There's a difference. But back in the day, people had to fix their own stuff. Everybody says, today's cars don't last. I don't agree. I strongly disagree with that. If you got 100, 125,000 miles out of a car way back when, that was something. Today, that's nothing. A car just broke in at that point. But back in the day, you had a problem with your car. You had Tommy next door. You had Billy up the street. You had Sandra, around the corner. These were all people that could help you fix your car. They could get you back on the road, get you to a mechanic to do the stuff that they couldn't do or, didn't have the ability to do, on the street or whatever. If you lived out in the country, everybody knew how to fix a car. I forgot his name, the comedian with who always wears like the plaid t-shirt or the plaid shirt with the cut-off sleeves. And he always said, everybody makes fun of a redneck till their car breaks down. And that's true. It's absolutely true. But in today's world, people don't realize all the different tools and equipment required to work on vehicles today. Yes, you can do basic stuff, but even the basic stuff is basically few and far between repairs. So nobody gets into it. Nobody buys their own tools anymore for this reason. Many people don't realize mechanics have to spend thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars. I mean, if I had to add up all the tools I bought over the years, I probably have purchased $250,000 worth of tools for myself. I think I just spit on myself, but whatever. I'd be willing to bet I bought probably $250,000 worth of tools, and tools that have gotten lost, misplaced, people borrow, you never get back, you forget who it was. That's out there too. I've given lots of tools away too to people starting off in this business, but nobody wants to do that anymore. Here's a good example. We had a young gentleman start at the shop. As many of you know, I'm not there full time anymore. I'm going there right now actually, but I'm not there full time anymore. But they had a young man start there in his 20s, and he was there for maybe 2 months, and he tried, but he's like, you know what, this is not for me. I got to spend a lot of money on tools. He had basic tools when he got there. He's like, I got to spend a lot of money on tools. I can't see spending $100 to $250 per week on tools, and that's what a lot of guys spend. Snap-on truck shows up, Mac Tools truck shows up. Well, no, Mac Tools never shows up. They do once, and then they never show up again. Matco Tools, USA Tools, whatever. But they show up, and you have a $100 bill, you have a $250 bill every single week. It happens. It's just how it works with this industry. Now, do you have to buy Snap-on tools, Matco tools, stuff like that? No. You can buy Harbor Freight. Are they just as good? No, but their Icon series has come a long way. I mean, their Icon series are right up there as far as I'm concerned with Snap-on. And you can't tell me difference, except their ratchets. Their ratchets definitely don't hold up as well as a Snap-on one does. Craftsman used to make excellent tools, excellent starter tools. They don't exist anymore. Well, they do, but it's not the same thing, trust me. You can get some really good tools, but for your basic home guy, it's fine. It's not a big deal. But as a professional, that stuff does not last. It does not work. It's unreliable for the professional. But anyway, yeah, so this guy, he was there, and he eventually gave his notice. He's like, you know what? This is not for me. He goes, spending $100 a week, up to $250 a week just on tools, when I'm making $750 to $1,000 a week, whatever he was, I don't know what he was making, but to spend that kind of money when that's what your return is, it's just like, man, can I see myself doing this for the rest of my life? Most people are like, no. And then the amount of knowledge between different cars and whatnot. Back in the day, you had a Ford, you had a Chevy, you had a Dodge, you had a Plymouth, you had an Oldsmobile, a Buick, a Pontiac, Datsuns, Nissans, Toyotas. Yeah, they were around, not all that often. I mean, Toyotas and Hondas were. Nissans, not so much, but whatever. You didn't have 300 different cars coming to you. Like you didn't, like everybody had a Chevy Nova. Everybody had a Volkswagen Beetle. It's just like, but nowadays you have, like, just looking at the cars on the street in front of me, they're all different. Every single one of them is different. I see a Honda, I see a Toyota, I see a Kia. I'm driving a Kia right now. Behind me is a Honda. Here's a Ford coming down the street. Here's a Chevy coming down the street. You know what I mean? There's like so many different vehicles and so many different tools required to do so many different things. Nobody wants to get involved in it anymore. But then again, there's young guys that come into this business, and I've recently befriended a guy named Tyler Powell, a young man. He's got a 2011 Dodge Charger that he's doing up for himself, and he's a young man. He works at a dealership, and he's working in Quick Lube, and this is what he wants to do, and that's what it takes. It takes somebody that wants to do this. And hey, what I'm going to do for Tyler Powell, I'm going to show you his Charger. I had a brain fart there. I'm going to show you his Charger right here. He sent me a picture of it, so let me just send it. I'm going to hook that up right here. All right, so now that you saw Tyler's car, he's done some work to it. He wants to do more work to it. He wants to put a cam in it. He wants to, basically boost it up a little bit, make some power out of it, and I get it. But he seems like he's really into it, and it takes a certain mindset to be really into it, and it's very hard to find nowadays. And you know why? Because that same mindset, you can go into carpentry, and you don't need to have $1 million worth of tools. You can go into plumbing. You don't need to have $1 million worth of tools. You can go into electrical. You don't need to have $1 million worth of tools. And it's all stuff you can still do with your hands. There's a lot of different industries out there where the company that you work for supplies your tools. Some repair shops do that. Not many at all. Some upper end dealerships supply their own tools because they want to have basically like a uniform shop where you look in the shop and everybody has the same toolbox. So you don't have, a green toolbox here, an orange toolbox there, a red toolbox there, a silver toolbox there, a dresser drawer, over here. I'm saying that because one time at the dealership in the very early stages when I started there, they hired this guy. He came in, and I swear to you, he offloads from the back of his truck a dresser. And that was his toolbox. He lasted not even a day. We're like, no, get that. No. This is ridiculous. You're not going to have a dresser here and think you're going to be working on vehicles. No. It looks so absolutely unprofessional. No. So, yeah, that didn't last one bit. But, yeah, so it's just like in this industry, having the mindset for it and the willingness to learn everything you need to learn, that's the other thing, too. To be a mechanic, you need to be a plumber. You need to be an HVAC guy. You need to be an electrician. You need to be a diagnostician. You need to know how to read all sorts of different equipment. There's so many different things and so many different ways of doing things depending on the manufacturer. And you go from one manufacturer to the next, and it's like, why do you do it this way? Like, what is the reason behind doing things this way when this other manufacturer does it this way? And it's such an easier way of doing things. And it's just like, but that's just how it is. You go from, I don't know, let's say you go from a Honda to a Volkswagen, and it's like, okay, Volkswagen mounts the water pump at the backside of the engine with a belt, a timing belt style belt at the back of the engine. It's like, who came up with this? Why? What's the reason behind it? And then like a Honda's got the water pump bolted to the front like a normal vehicle. Yeah. So anyway, I just kind of wanted to share this stuff with you. So, hey, back in the day, everybody was into it. Everybody wanted to fix their car, but stuff didn't last like it does today. We actually have a Kia Soul at the shop. Okay. It's got like 12,000 miles on it, and it needs an engine. It's a newer one. And Kia will not warranty it. There's a reason for that, and I'll explain it. But look for me doing some kind of a video on that. It's pouring rain today. The car's outside, so I doubt I'm going to make any kind of a video on it today, but it'll be upcoming. Pretty interesting as to why they won't cover it, and I completely understand why they won't cover it. So, but yeah, and it's not, well, I guess it is abuse. I guess you can call it abuse. But it's neglect, it's abuse, it's all of the above. So anyway, I guess that's it. So just, not a super long video here, but, I kind of wanted to shed a little light on the subject of this industry and what goes on with this industry and why this industry is getting more and more difficult for guys to get into, girls to get into. There's a lot of great people out there that do this for a living, and there's a lot of great people still getting into it, but it's harder and harder to find. I wish more women would get into it, and I do see more women getting into it. If you guys have never checked her out, Faye Hadley, she has a great YouTube channel. Very informative. I love how she does things. I've been watching her ever since I discovered her, which was probably about two years ago or so. Fantastic stuff. So, but anyway, you may want to check her out. I don't know her. I've seen her, and I think she does some really good stuff. But anyway, that's it. All right, guys, have a great day, and keep wrenching.